Okay, good evening. I'd like to call the North Aurora Village Board meeting for Monday, March 6, 2023 to order. Please join me in silent prayer
Recording
and
in
meditation.
progress.
All right, thank you. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gaffino.
Here.
Trustee Carroll.
Here.
Trustee Curtis. Trustee Gately.
Here.
Trustee Lowry.
Here.
Trustee Nedved.
Here.
Trustee Salazar. Here.
All right, thank you. Audience comments, we have two sign up tonight. The first one will be Chuck Nelson. Just speak in a microphone and state your address and all that. And
Sure, will do.
Sure.
My name is Chuck Nelson. My address is 235 LeGrand Boulevard, and that's in Aurora, Illinois. Good evening, Mr. President and members of the board, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Chuck Nelson, as I mentioned, and I am a candidate for the Fox Metro Board. For the first time ever, on April 4th, voters in 3 of the 5 districts will elect trustees to the Fox Metro Water Reclamation District to represent residents for a 4-year term. Thanks to the efforts of Senator Linda Holmes and State Representative Stephanie Kifowit, who sponsored legislation in 2019, the law now requires trustees to be elected rather than appointed. Fox Metro is the second largest water reclamation district in the state of Illinois, with an annual budget projected at $59 million for this year. The district is divided into 5 districts with 5 trustees who are responsible for providing leadership, governance, and oversight. The trustees work very closely with the district manager and are charged with approving the annual budget, the yearly financial audit, and attending 1 board meeting per month, and may be invited to attend several committee meetings in between the board meetings. 2 trustees, 1 representing District 3, which includes Montgomery and Oswego, and 1 representing District 4 that includes the northeast side of Aurora and the entire east side of North Aurora, were elected in 2021. Districts 1, 2, and 5 will be on the April 4th ballot. Election races in District 1 and District 2 are uncontested. Lucky us, huh? District 5, which has 4 candidates on the ballot, including myself, includes about half of the west side of Aurora, a small section of unincorporated Aurora, all the Sugar Grove, and the west side of North Aurora. I know the other 3 candidates very well, and it is my opinion that all of us are qualified to serve the residents of the district. Behind me is my old boss, Tom Youth. Tom's running for the board as well, and I can tell you that he's very qualified to run. What sets us apart, though, is the experience that I hold. Besides working at Fox Metro for 18 years, I served the residents of Aurora's 4th Ward for 12 years as their alderman. In addition, I served as an assistant to Mayor Tom Weisner for 6 years and served as deputy mayor for 3.5 years under Mayor Irvin. If elected, I can promise you that I will develop and implement citizen strategies that will foster opportunities for citizen participation with Fox Metro. I can tell you right now, there's very little, if any, citizen participation with Fox Metro. That can tell you 2 things. One is that they're doing a great job, which they are doing a good job, but the other part of it is that people just aren't engaged. So I pledge to do whatever I can to bring residents closer to the government of Fox Metro. I also pledge to work closely with you, the North Aurora Board, and also the Aurora City Council. Transparency, accessibility, and accountability have been and will continue to be my foundation for public service. I thank you for your time.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Next person, Tom Muth.
Good evening. My name is Tom Youth. I'm a candidate for Fox Metro Trustee District 5. I was the district manager at Fox Metro for 35 years. I retired December. I have the qualifications, expertise, and the willingness and passion to follow the Fox Metro excellence that we serve the citizens and the district. Chuck being one of my competitors, we worked together for 18 years. I still have the passion, to drive, and desire to do the best we can for the constituents. And I pledge that we will do everything in our power to do that. So thank you very much for your time.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Okay. Motion for consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Under new business, item 1, Jason.
Thank you. This item is approving a new 5-year or 3-year with 2 option years audit agreement with Lauterbach and Amon. The village has just concluded its previous 5-year agreement with Lauterbach and Amon. We went out and solicited bids. We sent it out to 12 different firms, received 3 back. Of those 3, we felt that Lauterbach and Amon gave the best mix of fees and experience, and plus prior experience with the village. Under this agreement, for example, in our first year, we expect the fees to be $25,260, which is actually $1,330 less than they were last year. So we should see savings going forward with this new agreement, especially in the first year.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion. Roll please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar. Yes. Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Item 2, Steve.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution approving a new classification in the Public Works Department for crew leaders. This is for in the Streets Division right now, we have laborers and then they report directly to the superintendent of streets. This is to allow 2 people to become crew leaders to act basically as supervisors of those crews in the field. And then they would report directly to the superintendent of streets.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Roll please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar. Yes. Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 3, Jason.
So this item amends the budget for the previous item. So this, for the remainder of the year, adds $1,390 to the budget for the remaining payrolls for those 2 related crew leader positions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Roll please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar. Yes. Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 4, John.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is the approval of a purchase of a bucket truck in the amount of not to exceed $95,000. The village currently has 1 bucket truck in its fleet. It's a 2000. It's 23 years old and it's very temperamental when it rains. So it can be a challenge to get some of our tasks done when we need to. But also we've been doing a lot more activities during the spring that we found that the bucket truck's actually kind of the limiting factor, meaning we need to be hanging banners and things for special events, but at the same time, we're also looking to change out street lights and do tree trimming. So with the addition of another bucket truck to the fleet, we're going to be able to do those things, those tasks simultaneously. So that's the purpose of this truck. When we were researching the trucks, again, it's been hard finding bucket trucks everywhere. The state purchase program doesn't offer the trucks right now. Used trucks range between $170,000 and $204,000. We found one at a private dealership for $78,000. We had that dealer bring that truck to our shop so our mechanic can inspect it, and we hired another outside mechanic just to double check to make sure there was nothing wrong with it. We did find that there were going to be a few things that needed to be added to the truck, so we were going to need some tires and work on the brakes. But in sum, the cost of that truck is going to be under $95,000. So the base price of the truck was $78,000, and we're estimating that some of the repairs would be between $8,000 and $15,000, depending on what it would be. So we're seeking approval for that purchase of that used bucket truck.
And to be clear, just one thing, if for some reason the truck that we spec'd out is no longer available by tomorrow when we put the order in, the authorization would authorize me to purchase it from somewhere else if we find one in that dollar amount or less.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion. I think it's great, being somewhat frugal, and I think it's a bigger truck too, so we can go up higher and since you don't use it that as much,
Use it
so-
for the Christmas decorations too, up and down the street lights and all that. So yeah,
Are we just gonna keep the existing truck till it just completely just dies out? Is
Yes.
that what you're gonna do? Okay, makes sense. Okay, thank
All
you.
right, great. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes,
trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Item 5, Mike.
Item 5 is an ordinance amending the North Aurora Municipal Code regarding construction permitting fees. You remember I gave a presentation at the last committee of the whole meeting. There were 2 changes that were suggested by the village board. One was to move the residential decks from tier 2 to tier 1. And also to increase the fee in tier 3 residential from $225 to $250. Both of those fees were actually changed in the actual ordinance for tonight. And if approved, the fees would take effect June 1, 2023.
motion to approve.
Discussion? Roll, please.
Trustee Salazar,
Yes,
trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 6, Steve.
Item 6 is a resolution that would support tax increment financing districts. This is actually coming from Metro West, the Council of Government, which we are a member of. They are looking, they're always monitoring legislation down in Springfield. And over the years, pretty much every year you hear about legislation about curbing the way that TIF districts are used. I think this year it seems like it's been a little more aggressive. There's been a lot of TIF districts in the news lately. The Bears, for instance, the discussion of a stadium has brought a lot of that to light. So right now, what Metro West is looking to do is have villages pass a resolution in support of TIF districts. Of course, we have 2 of them, one due to expire soon and one that'll be in service for probably about 22 more years. And then this resolution of support would go to the Illinois Municipal League, who works with state legislators to talk about the issues that the villages think are important.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar.
yes,
All right, thank you. Item 7, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Number 7 is the approval to enter into a contract with Flock Group Inc. for the purchase and installation of 4 fixed flock safety cameras and 2 portable flock safety cameras. As you recall, staff had a presentation in front of the committee of the whole meeting on February 20th. At that time, it was received with mostly positive feedback. Staff requests approval of the contract between Flock Group Inc. and the Village of North Aurora for the purchase of 4 fixed and 2 portable flock safety cameras. The initial cost will be $21,100. This cost includes installation and the procurement of any necessary permits. Flock Group Inc. has agreed to lock in the price and defer payment to our next budget year, starting June 1st, 2023. The cost of these cameras will be expended in the upcoming 23-24 budget year. This contract will automatically renew each June, with the first year renewal charge being $18,500.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion?
Joe, I just had one question. Do you know, you said four,
Fixed.
permanent
Yep.
fixed, there you go. And then 2 others. Where, do you know where the 4 fixed ones are going to
Yeah.
be? Or just refresh my memory, I don't remember.
So we're gonna put one at Orchard and Orchard Gateway. Currently, and staff just learned this, driving down Orchard Road southbound, King County already has one right in front of the Dunkin' Donuts. And we actually just used one to solve a crime for one from Woodman's.
Great.
We're gonna have 2 at 88 and Route 31. And then we wanted to put one at Route 25, Route 56, and we learned that you cannot have a camera within 100 feet of the railroad crossing.
Mm.
So then we determined the next best step would be at Butterfield and Mitchell, the entry point to our town.
Okay, thank you.
Call roll, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar.
Yes,
All right, thank you. Item 8, Steve.
Item number 8 is another resolution that was sent to us from the Metro West Council of Government. This resolution is regarding drones as first responders. Right now, state law prohibits the police to use drones in certain situations for proactivity, I guess you would call it. And this is a resolution where law enforcement agencies have been working with state legislators to amend some of that state law to allow officers to use drones in certain situations for crowd safety and things like that at special events. That's what this drone is supporting, is those changes in legislation. If approved, then what we would do is we would send this to Metro West, but we'd also send a copy to all of our 5 senators and representatives that represent North Aurora.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I'd like to give some examples of how these things might be used. I have some real concerns with, the excessive use of cameras. We're having the ones installed on the street. Now we're talking about letting the police department use drones at public festivals. I mean, is this going to be used for a domestic disturbance or, strange guys walking down my block? How exactly is this program going to work?
Well, actually, this is mainly so right now the law prohibits us for example, North Aurora Days, when we want to keep an eye on the rooftops during the festival or the riverfront. During the festival, we can't use that. So for example, with Highland Park, that would have been a huge asset to be able to monitor rooftops, because from the ground level, you cannot see that. And what's comical is the camera on the silo is permissible. However, a drone camera is not. So I could put an officer with a camcorder on the rooftop to monitor people, but a drone, which has better camera power, can record, is illegal at this time. And we've met with Barb Hernandez, one of our representatives, conveyed this to her, and she was in support as well. So we're just trying to make the community safer during these special events. We can use it for, say if there's a suspicious person walking down the road, we can use a drone. And we have used drone to find suspicious people or people hiding out from a crime. It's just a special events right now is really handcuffing us.
I'm just worried about this devolving and, down the slippery slope, that it's going to be proactive policing or identifying people, what safeguards are in place to protect the right to privacy of our citizens?
Well, there really is no expectation of privacy at a community event. We do put signage
I'm
out there.
not talking about community
Okay.
events. You just said if some guy's walking down the street, you could send a drone out. So what safeguards are in place so that an innocent person or somebody, minding their own business, maybe.
Sure.
I'm just trying to.
I mean, we wouldn't be using a drone to look for innocent people walking down the street. It takes a lot of time and effort. You need 2 people, you need a spotter, you need the actual drone pilot. You have to set up the landing pad. You wouldn't just use it for simply flying around the neighborhood. You need to have a call for service, and everything's documented and recorded, and we do a report. So everything is foiable, everything is documented. So, I mean, there's litigation for the safeguards. If somebody feels like their rights have been violated, there are lawsuits available.
I'm just worried that once, you can't stick the cat back in the bag. So
Sure.
I just want to make sure that we've got safeguards in place, that this isn't, people are being surveilled or followed or things like that, or, personal property is being taken photos of, front, back, whatever. So it really bothers me to see the level of surveillance that, especially at tonight's meeting. And I understand there's not an expectation to a right to privacy, but I do think there is some privacy afforded to a private citizen out and about.
Chief, are there any guidelines or have we created any guidelines internally for use of the drones? And like restricting them at all, or have we thought about that?
Sure.
Maybe?
There has to be a call for service and a reason to use a drone. So when the drone request is put out there, the officer files a report. You have to get a drone pilot. You have to have a second to make sure, because he's focusing on the piloting and somebody else is watching their back. They do a report. We also have to get permission from the FAA to fly the drone. It's just not put out there willy-nilly.
I think going back to what it sounds like is you're talking about our internal general orders and whether or not we have a drone policy.
Right.
So our general orders do cover drones, do they not? And so does that stipulate in that general policy when you can and cannot use a drone?
Yes, and like I said, you have to document a report. It has to be a request.
And would that be like if there was somebody in a neighborhood that was hiding in the neighborhood and the neighborhood or school was locked down, you could use the drone in that type of scenario?
What we've been using them for is missing persons. Like we located a runaway from Jewel Middle School hiding by the pond. where an officer can't go, the drones can. For example, we're sending the drone team out for a missing person in King County tomorrow. We had a person run from a traffic stop hiding in the bushes, and there's infrared capability with the drones. We use that to locate that individual. It's for public safety. It's not for just flying for the fun of it.
What we're voting on this is for, just to remind everybody, is for the special event in the, so they can monitor, any type of crime or activity. So that's what we're voting on, just to be clear. We have a drone policy in place, and so, I asked them, just call a question.
Roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Item 9, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 9 is a resolution to adopt the 10 shared principles established by the NAACP and the Illinois Conference and Illinois State Conference, and the Illinois Association of the Chiefs of Police. On March 22nd of 2018, the NAACP Illinois State Conference and the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police agreed to 10 shared principles designed to build trust between law enforcement and communities of color. The two statewide associations vowed by mutual affirmation to work together and stand together in our communities and at the state level to implement these values and principles, and to replace mistrust with mutual trust wherever, whenever, and however we can. Staff recently discussed the 10 shared principles and how did these align with the mission of the North Aurora Police Department. A strengthened outreach through community events, seminars, and recruitment have been a recent focus of this agency. Members of the North Aurora Police Department from the top down were already expected to treat all people with dignity and respect. However, we agree as staff that adopting the 10 shared principles publicly affirms the expectation. It also acknowledges a responsibility for police and members of the community to work together and understand each other. Currently, over 300 law enforcement agencies in Illinois, including the Aurora Police Department, Sugar Grove Police Department, the St. Charles Police Department, and most recently, the Batavia Police Department, have adopted these 10 shared principles. Staff requests that board acknowledge and adopt these same 10 shared principles as their own, and thereby add the name of the North Aurora Police Department to the historic agreement between the Illinois NAACP and the Illinois Chiefs of Police Association.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
I have some issues with this resolution. I don't understand why 5 years after this was adopted, that's coming before us, number one. Number two, I have some real concerns. We're a nonpartisan board, but this is a very politically charged issue. And this document is very politically charged. Specifically, the president's task force for 21st century policing. I looked at the 6 pillars, and I don't agree with all the 6 pillars on that, because what it says is that our law enforcement department, our police department, had some participation in discrimination, and we're apologizing for that. And since I've been on the board, there's never been a whiff of discrimination by our police department. As a matter of fact, I would say our police department exemplifies everything that's supposed to happen on regular day-to-day stops. And I'm not prepared to buy into the notion that somehow our department participated in social injustice with minority groups. I do agree that our with the motto of respect your oath, respect the village, respect every single person you come into contact with, regardless of race, religion, sexual identity, whatever. That's your job. But I don't think that adopting this resolution promotes that or detracts from that. It doesn't do anything to better the responsibilities of the police officers. And I think it's a very politically charged issue that this board should not be taking up.
It's a non-binding resolution. Is that correct, Kevin?
Yeah, it is a non-binding resolution.
All right, thank you.
It is.
Any other discussion?
I agree with Mark. I don't think it's something that should have come before the board. I think our police department, like Mark said, does exemplify respect. We haven't had any issues. And I agree with Mark.
Chief, I just have a question
Sure.
for you. Do you agree with the characterization that some of these 10 aspects somehow puts the board in a position of apologizing for something that we
No, you know what I like about it? In today's day and age where everybody goes on the offense and nobody's listening to each other, these are actually two parties involved that sat at a table and discussed. You don't have to agree with what one side felt or the other. They had a conversation and they came to an agreement. I think it's just acknowledging the feelings on both sides and an agreement to work together for the future. Staff discussed this in depth. My first response was, well, we already do this. And from the police side, but from the other side, they're like, yeah, you think you do, but you don't know how we feel. So we felt it was best to publicly affirm that, yes, we agree. Some people might feel they haven't been treated fairly. Our goal is to treat everybody fairly. So we found no harm in publicly affirming that.
So Chief, you support the motion?
I do.
Okay. Call a
But should
question.
we- But should we be putting facts above feelings? I mean, I would almost think as a police officer, apologizing as a board for things that have never happened within this department, I would be insulted as an officer who takes my job seriously.
It's an agreement that we both understand each other. We're working towards a future.
It's
And-
one-sided. It's you feel such and such, but the facts say otherwise. So
So they also agree to work with us and acknowledge that we have a job to do and understand our position as well.
And again, it's a political statement at some level, and I don't, as Mark clearly stated, we're a nonpartisan board, and I don't think it's something that would be in our best interest.
All right, call the roll, please.
Trustee Salazar,
yes.
trustee Carroll,
No.
trustee Curtis, trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
No.
You don't, it's not.
It is tight.
It is. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is 3-3. You can vote. Yeah. You don't have to.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, I was looking bad at math.
That's what I wanted.
All right, that concludes our new business. Village President report. I have none. Trustee comments? Administrative report,
No report tonight. Thank you.
department reports. Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Okay, we'll be meeting shortly for committee of the whole.